Morning majors, we are going to be doing day 7, which is tangent on a circle. Okay, so we define what tangent is at the beginning of unit 9, which is, the vocabulary when we go over. So today we're going to talk about what does tangent does, what kind of angle it creates. So the definition goes, a tangent line intersect a circle exactly 1 point. So that's something you guys have to make sure you remember, okay? It's a line, it only intersect a circle at 1 point, okay? It can't be two, doesn't go through it, it's just 1 point, okay? All right, and called a point of tangency. That's what we define it at the beginning of the notes. So now a line tangent to a circle, if in and only if it is perpendicular to the radius drawn to the point of tangency. So whenever you have a line that is tangent, so in this case, AB is tangent, right? Um, so AB is tangent. Let me pick the pen. Since AB is tangent, and then this is circle P, you have to make sure you remember that P is the center of the circle, right? We said only if and only. P is the center of the circle. This is circle P. So this the point that starts from P, which is this point, right? From P, when you draw a line at the point of tangency, P to A is the radius. And if A is the point of tangency, it's always going to be perpendicular with the tangent line. So that's something you have to create. A line is tangent to a circumference only if it's perpendicular to the radius. So sometimes they will say determine if AB is a tangent to circle P. So I want to know if this is going to be a 90-degree angle. Okay, to check that, you have to use your Pythagorean theorem. You do a squared, b squared, c squared. So remember, the distance from here to here is going to be the radius. So it's 8, and this is 8, but they give you the whole hypotenuse, so we are checking, is 8 squared plus 15 squared equals to 17 squared? When you do, yes, it does, right? So because of that, you say that yes, AB is a tangent line. But when we get to number 2, we would say, okay, the tangency would be right here. So that's a lot of times you guys get mistaken and put P as your 90-degree. No, it's between the radius and the tangent line. So now I have A, which is 14, B, which is 11. So 11 squared plus 14 squared equals to the whole square. So they only gave you the distance from here to here, but you knew this was the radius, which was 11. So the hypotenuse becomes 16. So 11 squared plus 14 squared, is it equal to 256? And as you can see, it's no, right? And that's all we have to do. So I'll go over more example, but I want you guys to pay attention. If it does not satisfy that, then it is not a tangent line. All right, number 3 to, I guess, number 8 is asking you direction if JK is tangent to circle L, right? So that's what we have to check. So every time we have this, so just remember, if it is tangent, then the 90-degree angle is going to be created here at the where J is, right? So J is where the 90 degree is being created. That way it can kind of help you to see what uh, the 90, where the 90 degree is, and then where it needs to be. Why are we erasing? All right, it's not. Hold on, let's just change it to a pen. Maybe that's what I need to do. All right, so no, still the eraser. All right, I'll just use this. So that's going to be 90-degree, right? That's what I want to check. Is it 90-degree, right? So no, in this case, it says if JK is the tangent to circle F, find X. So if that's the 90-degree, then I still can use, A squared, B squared, C squared, right? So I can use 7 squared. I think I need to change this to a pen. So 7 squared plus 19 squared is equals to X squared, right? That's all we have to do. So check if that gives you, just solve it. Then you don't even need to check, right? And when you look at number 4, now I have x. So remember, always identify which one is your 90 degree. The 90 degree is where the radius or the diameter intersects with the tangent. So this is going to be your 90-degree angle. Okay? So once you identify the 90, you can identify which one is your a squared, b squared, c squared. So in this case, I knew this is going to be my a plus 11 squared equals to, so remember the hypotenuse is the whole thing. So it can't be 7. So this is 11. So 11 plus 7 is 18 squared. And then you solve for x. So the same thing for this one. So x is, if they're looking for the whole, only this part of the x, so what you can do is do 10 squared plus 24 squared equals to y squared. The reason I'm doing y is going to be the whole thing. So I'm trying to find, this is going to be y. If I'm trying to find x, once I found what y is, I will subtract 10 from it because I knew from here to here's 10. So y would be, y minus 10 will give you x. Okay, so this is basically putting it in a calculator and trying to find that. The same thing with this one. I knew the whole diameter is going to be 22, right? 22 squared, because 11 plus 11 plus x squared equals to 25 squared. And then you just solve it. So I'm not going to solve it for you guys. You should be able to do it all by yourself. And then just pay attention. Where's the 90-degree angle? So in this case, this is where the 90-degree angle is, right? Where J is. That makes, this is your A, the whole 3.5 plus 3.5. This is your B, which is 6.4. And then C would be the X. The same thing here, 90-degree being created here. This is your A, this is your B, the X is your B, and then this is your C. All right, so the bell just rang, and I think that's what. And another thing we have to know about more tangent line is this rule. So if two segments from the same external point are tangent to a circle, then they are congruent. So if I know they have the same external point and they're tangent because it gives you that 90 degree, I know this is congruent to this. Okay, and then same thing with if a polygon is circumscribed around the circle, all sides are going to be congruent. So this side is going to be congruent to this. EC is going to be congruent to FC. DA is going to be congruent to AF, and that's all you have to know. So when it comes to trying to solve a problem like number 10, I know that they're both tangent. I'm solving, that means this segment is going to be congruent to this. So all I have to do is set them equal to each other. So I'll do 5x plus 23 equals 8x minus 19. The same thing with 11. You set them equal to each other, okay? And when it comes to problem like number 13, I knew this was all perimeter inside, so this is 16. That makes this 16, right? I knew this was 11. This is 11. I knew this is 9.5. I knew this is 9.5. So the question is, what's the perimeter of the triangle? Add it up. 16 plus 11 plus 11 plus 9.5 plus 9.5 plus 16. Okay? All right, that's it, guys. Make sure you guys finish. This is day 7 of tangent. I'll see you in class.